Hello and welcome to the Rave Room podcast, Basscoast edition. And I'm going to be talking about lots of things to do at Basscoast. The drive up there, getting in, setting up the mobile studio, interviewing guests, checking out the vendors, checking out the artwork, you name it. We're going to go over it all. The artist lineup was wicked as well. There's all sorts of good things that come from this. So if you haven't already, please subscribe, like, leave a comment, follow us on the show at the Raver Podcast on Instagram, and TikTok as well, trying to navigate TikTok and all that. And hopefully you'll enjoy this episode, and let's go from there. I'm going to talk about driving there. So obviously, if you don't know where Basscoast is, it's in Merritt in BC, probably about, I'll say, 3 hour drive to maybe 3.5 hour drive from the airport. So a lot of people are flying in. I live not so far from the airport, probably about 45 minutes away. And then, drove up. It took me like 2.5 hours at the most, pretty much. One of the roads on the way there, if you don't know it, it's called the Coca-Cola, which has been like on TV, on Discovery, called the Highway from Hell. And this is on the way up there. And it's in a nice city of Merritt. The festival is held in like indigenous lands and that. So on the way driving up there, like I say, there's a road called the Coca-Cola, and I've got like a little beat of a car. I had to put everything like in this small little car, and she's like, "You ain't getting that all in there." I said, "Trust me." Well, I'm getting it all in there, and I'm driving up there. So on the way up there, I was like, "Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna fucking cram it in there. Trust me. Don't worry about it. I'll get it all in." So you got all the studio stuff. I've got camping gear. I've got the studio like pop-up tent thing. I've got camping gear. You name it, I've got it in there. So everything was like boxed around me, and I just had the seat in the car. Any little sort of like hole or gap or anything like I could find, something had to go in there. I was used literally every single spot or space in that car. And going up that Coca-Cola hill, it was like proper lagging. Like I got stick, right? So manual car, and I was like, bam, up the hill. It's fucking hilarious. And when I'd done it, I was like, good girl, like on the car and that. Got up there, and when I got there, like flying around, I was like, I need to get some beers and that. Got some beers, and I got to a gate. It's like Basscoast, and I went that way. Typical male, and I didn't even read the orientation that well. And it's like, there's a different entrance for like media and artists and everything like that. So I was like, okay, well, fucking this way would do. So I went there, and there was a woman at the gate, sort of thing. She's got music blaring, all the tunes banging, and she said to me, what are you doing here? I was like, I'm the media, like, I've got a podcast and that. She's like, you're the wrong gate. She's like, you need to go around this way. So it's like an 8-minute drive around. So I got it back in the car, like drove all the way around, got to another gate, and then like the lady there was like, what you're here for? And I said, Basscoast, Ravering Podcast, all that sort of stuff. And she was like, okay, cool, you need to go down to that thing there. Luckily, like to a cabin, it was laid out pretty much similar, exactly the same as it was last year. So I was very fortunate with that. So I walked up to the cabin thing, and I was like, well, go get my pass and everything like that. And I was like, I had these like Costco like flip flops on. So like back in the UK, you've got like Greggs and all that. You can buy all the merch for it. Well, over here you can get like Costco merch, but it's called Kirkland. So I had these sliders on and a sweater on, a t-shirt. And this guy comes up to me and he goes, "Mate, I love like the attire. Like I've got Costco stuff as well." So I was like, "Oh yeah." I said, what are you here for? And he like, DJ, like producer, promoter. And he was just like, I'm a DJ, and I noticed his ring, and it had like the Metalheads labels like logo on it. I said, you a big fan of like Metalheads? He's like, no, I'm the first international DJ that's been signed to like Metalheads. I'm like, no fucking way. He's like, yeah, man. I'm like, I'm playing here, like big D&B person, jungle. I was like, oh mate, I love that. I was like, I can't make sure I watch this set. So quickly had to get a passes. Everyone's like in and out kind of thing. And as I parked there, the woman said to me, are you going to be here for long? Because this is only temporary parking. I went, yeah, don't. I said, I'm just unloading all the gear here. They said I could. And like I've just got unloadable stuff in that. And she's like, okay, you can't be here for like too long. I was like, yeah, no worries, I won't be here for too long, I promise you. So anyway, I walked round and got hold of like one of the managers for artist relations and stuff. And I was like, yeah, mate, I said, I need some help moving all my gear and that. Do you mind, is there anyone give me a hand? And there's a guy called Brian there, and he was like the main guy, and he helped me out last year and he helped me out this year. And there's a couple other people there as well, and they were like, yeah, we can give you a hand. Like, so I bought a caddy round, like a little golf cart. And they were like, just chuck all your stuff in here and everything like that. So I drove it around, come back, and the woman goes, are you going to leave your car there? I said, no, I've got to get stuff around. Of course I was leaving it there, like, just being cheeky about it, and I. So I left it there the whole weekend. And, but yeah, I got everything into the artist area, over like Green Tent, where the bar is, and I try to pull like artists from there into the artist camping area, into the studio, like mobile studio. So beaming down with like banging heat, because I got there on a Friday, like sort of 12 o'clock. The heat is booming down, and in Merritt it was like really hot and dusty. I've got to put his tent up. I've got to do set this whole tent up, right? So I've got everything there, moved it in, whacked the tent up. Once I've done that, right, table, chairs, rugs. I had to find a rug somewhere. They were like, I said to the people there, can you like help me find me a rug? They said, oh yeah, I don't know if we've got any. So like I did last year, I was like, oh, don't worry, leave it with me, I'll find one. So I just went scavenger hunt and found 2 rugs, put them on the floor, then put all the gear in there, table, fridge, beer in there, cameras, you name it, put it in there and everything like that. That's all set up, and I'm like, okay, I need to get to the bar, let's have a cocktail. I had a cocktail, and I thought, right, do you know what, I'm going to walk around the Basscoast grounds and just go and check it out, because it actually starts on a Thursday. So then I was like, I was going to have a look at the vendors. So at Basscoast, they're like really, really big on art, like hugely big on art, as well as the music. So I've got my phone at it, because I've obviously wrote some notes down as well to kind of talk about like what I come across and everything like that. So I went around, first of all, and had a look at all the stages. So you've got the main stage, the cantina, sleigh bay, and the main stage, the cabin. I'm sorry if I missed any more out, but they're the ones that I knew of. I went and checked around them. Sound system, I kid you not, in the sleigh bay was probably the best sound system out there, and the cantina. But sleigh bay sound system is absolutely phenomenal. And then I came, the cabin, always good. It's a great stage as well. The sleigh bay holds some of the biggest people in the cantina, and then the main stage holds like big acts. Like they had there called Closey as well, who played that stage. So the stages were fantastic. Like they're really nicely done up, just brilliant. As I was walking around, there's lots and lots of vendors. There's like clothing vendors, jewelry vendors, raveware vendors. There's all sorts of just festival stuff, little businesses, everything like that. And I'm a big supporter of like supporting like small businesses. So I thought this was really good to support. Like check it around, grab some business cards, see what they do, see if I like it and stuff. And started talking to a load of vendors, like I've got their thing there, like, oh, how'd you get it here? Do if you have much business, this and the other. And people were really, really friendly when I was talking to them. Then there's like a shit ton of artwork, like I mentioned earlier. When I was in the United Screen area, we have like a media meeting. And they were like, well, we're also going to do an artwork tour as well. So I was like, sweet, I'll do that. Some people didn't want to do it. Some people did. I met some great people like on the tour and that. So I went on this artwork tour, and then there was like all the people doing different artwork. There was like graffiti boards, but there's also people who did like actual like placement things. Like I don't know how to explain it, but they would place like a contraption there, and then they would have like a little board that explains the art, what it does, how it's meant to make you feel, all that sort of stuff. And me personally, I don't understand it, but I respect it. Do you know what I mean? So like, it looked cool. Some of it, I was like, what the fuck is that? But with all due respect, I didn't understand it. So, but some people do. Like that's what art's all about, right? There's different tastes for different things, different like stuff. So, I looked at one. It was wicked. So basically, it's just you stand in this like little cage thing, and it's got an eye, like on a bit of glass, and the other is 3 of them. So you stand in one, there's 2 behind you, and you have people standing in a certain spot. And what you can do is that person will talk away from you, like facing that way, and then you can hear it like perfectly, like literally. so the sound bounces around. Even with like all the bass going off at the festival, it's still like really clear. So there's some really cool shit there. Like you'd be like, wow, this is fucking cool. There's like a transformer thing there that made sounds all night, kept me up all night, didn't it? And there's loads of cool shit there, like loads of cool artwork, and I couldn't fault it. It was really good. As I was there on the art tour, there was like a bunch of sea cans, like little sea containers, and on top they've built like a little deck, like a patio deck and stuff like that. And on this patio deck you can sort of sit there, but you can still see like the main stage and the cantina stage. You can really, really, really like enjoy it. Like, if you think like, fuck, my back hurts from dancing, or that's just me because I'm massive and getting old. But like if you feel like you've had enough, you're going to take a break from like the big crowd and that, you just want to chill out, there's a cool little spot that's all like lit up and stuff. You can sit up there and watch and hear the music. And another cool thing as well was when I was doing the art tour, there's this post in the middle, and it's got the old the tin cans with a string. Well, if you put it to your ear, you could hear the different music at different stages. It's actually really fucking cool. I was like, that's a cool concept. And that was like, I think that was quite new to it, to Basscoast Festival anyway. Yeah, that was a cool thing. And yeah, you've got like the river down here as well. People are in the river chilling out. It's nice and cold, especially on the flight for the hot day. And then like the food vendors as well. So there's loads of food vendors. And if you're an artist, media, whatever, you got like a food tent anyway for like cooking your food. But there's also food vendors as well to go and check out. There was like there was rice bowls, there was like vegan stuff, there was beef stuff, but there's all sorts of cool shit. So for food wise, and I had like a stir fry, which was banging as well. And so literally Basscoast's got everything. It's got like cool artwork vendors, you can buy stuff. Even if your raveware breaks, there's raveware vendors there. Another big thing as well was harm reduction. So if you're stressed out, you can go into a spot and chill out for a bit, which is pretty cool. All the first aiders, tons of first aiders there, so massive respect to that, because always someone's going to hurt themselves. And yeah, like it was well planned out. I'm not like just being up, they didn't pay, I'm not sponsored by it or anything like that, but yeah, it was really well thought out, so I really enjoyed it. So some of the DJs that I saw and met, so I saw, I missed T Williams set. I was super gutted, but I work on the Thursday, couldn't make it up there, so I messaged him, I was like, I can't make up to the Friday, I'm ever so sorry I missed your set. But apparently he played a blinding set. Yeah, when I got there, I watched Sivs played a banging set at Slay Bay. I saw Dark Harps. So Dark Harps, if you don't know Dark Harps is, from Vancouver, originally from the UK. He does like live modular sets. He done it like right in the middle of the cabin stage. Absolutely fantastic. It was fucking banging. Like it wasn't a massive rig, but he had it all set up and he was like banging away on doing the live stuff. It sounded really, really good. I watched Small Town DJs from Calgary. I spoke to them guys as well, and they were absolutely fucking playing a banging set. It was like the 2000s kind of like house stuff, the Groove Armadas and the Ten Snake and all that sort of stuff. It was really, really good. I loved it, and it was like right in the prime time of the day. I saw Jay Carter's set. That was wicked. That was at the Cantina stage. That took me back as well. She played a bit of grime stuff, a bit of underground techie stuff as well. And then I come across quite a few more people. To name is ridiculous. I saw Rumpus's set. That was really good. I was just like darting around all the different types of like festival stages. So if you're a festival goer, sometimes you could be this kind of person that just likes one stage, or you want to see a particular DJ. I like to see a multiple DJ different stages and go walk around and vibe it, check out the artwork. I'm a wanderer, and then if something's good and it catches my ear, I will I'm gonna stay here for this set. One guy I did watch, which was fantastic, which was Ardalan. When we interviewed Justin Martin, when was it? Last year at the Basscoast Festival. he said, "Oh, you need to get on Ardland. Ardland would be a great one." So I was like, "Okay, man, like, I'll try and get him on." So I messaged him before. I was like, "Hey, mate, how you doing? Like, I'd love to get you on an interview." Justin said, like, you'd be a great interview, and I've listened to your stuff as well and stuff like that. And he's like, "Yeah, man, I'd love to come on." I was like, "Fucking sweet." Met him up, had a few chats. We had a long chat one night. We just like smashing back some drinks and just having a good time and laughing and joking about like the music back in the day and stuff. And he's like, "Here's my number. I'll take it, and I'll message you after my set, and we'll go and do the interview." So at this time, I was, I met up with T Williams, and we got some food together. Started chatting about like, just general stuff back at home in the UK, sort of like filling me in on the stuff happening back in the UK as well. It's like my correspondence back in the UK. And we was chatting away and stuff. And me and T were like, "Let's go and watch Ardland's set." So we went up to watch his set, and banging set. He was playing a rotary mixer, like absolutely insane. Like this rotary mixer, I don't know much about rotary mixers, but apparently this one was the best in the market that you could ever buy. If it's just some Japanese electronic one, and it's apparently the pinnacle of like rotary mixers for DJing. So Ardland was mixed on this, playing some great tunes. I'll upload the videos of this, and I'll do clips as well. But yeah, it's fantastic. Well, just prior to this, actually, I'm just going to step it back a bit. So prior to this, T Williams, Ardland was standing outside the podcast tent, and I was like, "You alright, boys? Like, you all good?" And he was like, "Yeah, man." And T was like, "Do you mind if we like interview us both together?" I was like, "Yeah, it's fine, mate. Two birds, one stone." Yeah, that's wicked. I've never done that before, but I've got two quality like legends on the podcast. I'd love to get you both on. We went and watched Ardland's set, done all that, and T was like, "I'm gonna bring Ardland with me." And T was quality. We've had a really good friendship. He was like, I'll get guests in, and I'll try my best to get him to come to your tent." So I was like, "Yeah, sure, no worries, man. I appreciate that." And so yeah, after his set, banging set, we walked back to the podcast studio tent, and we'd done the podcast episode, and I'm telling you now, you will love it. It's a great one, and I didn't even know this, but this is all I'm going to say right now. They actually both made a tune back in 2010. That's all I'm saying. So wait till the episodes. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment, all that jazz, and keep up to date when I release that episode. And then I was speaking to Jay Carter. She was staying a few tents down from me in the artist area, camping area, and she said, "Yeah, take my number and text me, and then I'll come do it." So there's other people there DJing. There's other people there interviewing like the DJs. So Mix Mag was there, and a couple of independent interview people, like brands that brands are interviewing people. These DJs don't owe me their time. I don't expect anyone's time. I'm thankfully, give me their time to have these interviews and to show you a good episode of what these people are like behind the decks, outside of the whole rave environment. So, I appreciate these people giving me their time. Some people I couldn't. Like I met up with some great people. Daniel Bell, like techno legend, super busy. I met so many people. Say Grace, she was lovely. I met Nala backstage. We was in the DJ booth on the Slay Bay, and we were chatting for ages. And she could be a potential guest on the podcast as well. Absolutely lovely person. I met the Average Citizens, which I've got an episode with them coming out soon. Ivy Lab boys as well. One of them anyway. Devo, I think his name is. Apologies if I got that wrong. And absolutely sound guy. Like the Ivy Lab boys, sort of like the pinnacle of like what I got into from the young years. Great DJs, great duo. I met them last year, and one of them came back this year because he absolutely loved, like his friends were there at Basscoast, and he absolutely loves the festival. So it's nice to see that some good faces again. I saw just loads and loads of DJs who are really, really nice people. Managed to get Jay Carter on as well. Going back to Jay Carter. So she had the interview of Mix Mag and stuff. She's like, "Brad, let's do the interview." So I had the interview with her as well, and again, fantastic person. Couldn't fault her. She's done a great episode, and lovely person all round, and really, really good episode. So make sure you tune into that one as well. That'll be coming out soon. And yeah, my overall experience at Basscoast was absolutely fantastic. I got to meet some great people, eat some good food. You know, I felt welcome there. It was really good. So really happy with that. I hope I made enough content as well. It's very hard to get the DJs because a lot of them are busy. They fly in, fly out. Like one geezer I met, absolute legend as well. Look, he's a couple of years younger than me, but yeah, interplanetary criminal. That guy is a legend, mate, and he's a proper geezer as well. So I was sitting in the Arctic Green area tent drinking some miso soup, as you do at a festival, but I wasn't giving it out. And he popped in, he went out for a cigarette. So I walked out, I went, John, right? I said, am I right? In the planetary criminal? He's like, yes, mate, how you doing? I was like, mate, you're a legend, bruv. I was like, absolutely, like sensational garage and all that sort of stuff. And he was like, oh, mate, thanks ever so much. He's like, what are you doing? Are you DJing? I was like, no, I've got a podcast. Like, I do DJ and produce. I've done for years, but I do the podcast as well alongside. And I've just interviewed DJs. I'd love to interview you, but it's like, oh, mate, you know, my set's going to be coming soon. Which it was, like, in a half hour. So we stood there for like 20 minutes chatting. And I was like, I need to find like although I had the studio tent, I need like a proper like mobile like setup where I can just interview them there and then. Be like, here's a mic, camera on a tripod, one camera, instead of trying to do like the fancy angles and stuff, and just be like, yeah, that's it. We spoke for like, yeah, a good half hour. You know, he dressed like I dressed like I dress as well. And yeah, it was really, really warming to see like someone like that play that sort of music, and it was nice. And then he was like, he's like, do you want to walk me, Brad, to my set? I was like, yeah, mate, sure. And we started chatting on the way to his set, and everyone was like stopping, go, oh, mate, you're a legend, like fucking shaking his hand and stuff. And then we were chatting there. He's like, right, I've got to go in like 10-15 minutes. He's like, I'm just going to smoke a cig. I was like, yeah, no worries. And we were standing there chatting, and he went to go up behind the booth, and then he was like, you coming up, Brad? I was like, yeah, I'll be there, don't worry, I'll come up. Watched his set, absolutely blew me away. When he finished his set, walked back, and we were just standing out the back there, like behind the stage. I was like, mate, that took me on a fucking, not just a journey, but on a time travel, like time tunnel, back in time. Like some of the tunes you were playing took it back to like when I was at school, like 12 years old or younger. I listened to like garage music. And he's like, mate, that feels so like heartwarming that you say that. So that was another nice person. Hopefully a future potential guest as well, that he said he would come on. So I've just got to sort out with his manager. And yeah, it's just a great all-round experience. I met some great people. And if you ever get a chance, if you're in Canada or you're able to travel, please do give Basscoast a go. I'll be there. Or if I won't, I'll be in the UK. A festival there as well, so because I'm going to be back there next summer. So yeah, thanks for listening on this podcast. I hope you've enjoyed it. This is a little insight into the Basscoast sort of recap of what I experienced, everything like that. And yeah, I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see ya on the next one.